Standard 9th, Political Science, Chapter number 5, India and Other Countries. In the last chapter, we studied the United Nations and got to know about its role in peacekeeping. We also got to know that India has always helped the United Nations in this task. India is a peace-loving country. We always help everyone in maintaining peace and cordial relationships. In this chapter, we shall take a critical review of India's relations with neighboring countries, how we are doing with our neighbors. We will also understand India's relations with some faraway nations with whom we are not sharing a boundary, are called as faraway nations. Now, the first topic is India and her neighbors. India's position in Asia is geographically and politically important. Why? We will come to know now. Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Nepal, Bhutan, China, Maldives are India's neighbors. If a question is asked, India's neighbors, this will be the first point to be written. You have to write the list of countries with which we are sharing the boundary. The values of equality and mutual respect have a great importance in India's foreign policy. This is the first point that we are very sure that we want to follow in our India's foreign policy. India has established relations with neighboring countries on the basis of these values. India is the biggest country in the Indian subcontinent. This makes us come to a point that China is not a part of the Indian subcontinent. Similarly, India is economically and technologically more advanced as compared to these countries. It is thus natural that India has a great influence among the South Asian countries. India and Pakistan. In 1947, India was partitioned and two independent countries were created, India and Pakistan. Talking about India-Pakistan, Indo-Pak relations are influenced by three main factors. There is a difference in the worldviews of both the countries, the Kashmir question, and nuclear rivalry between the two countries. India and Pakistan have totally different worldviews. How we see the world is completely different than how Pakistan sees the world. In line with the Indian worldview, India opposed the military alliances of the Cold War and tried to solve the Indo-Pak conflict bilaterally. Bilaterally means through dialogues, with talking on the table. We did not want a war. We always tried to solve the problems through talks. The Shimla Agreement of 1972 was based on this principle. On the other hand, Pakistan tried to maintain relations with the Islamic world and China and entered into a military agreement with America. It is always eager to participate militarily everywhere. Pakistan considers Kashmir as the biggest hurdle in establishing relations with India. The first Indo-Pak War took place in 1965 over Kashmir. We got independence and we were partitioned, but in 1965, both the neighbors went into war. The Tashkent Agreement was signed in 1966, but nothing much came out of it. It was mere paperwork. On the ground, that agreement was not followed. Even though the 1971 war was about the creation of Bangladesh, it also had the dimension of the Kashmir problem to it. The Shimla Agreement in 1972 provided a new format to the interaction between India and Pakistan. This was the war which Pakistan lost. In 1999, there was again a conflict between India and Pakistan over the infiltration by Pakistan in the Kargil region. This was again incited by Pakistan. Even today, the Kashmir question is the basic cause of conflict between the two countries. This is the very reason India worked very tremendously to remove Article 370, which is a great step to include J&K into the sovereign democratic Republic of India. The nature of the conflict has changed, and this new type of conflict can be described as terrorism. Pakistan keeps on trying to infiltrate our states. It keeps on trying to send terrorists into our areas to cause disruption and to cause violence. Both India and Pakistan conducted nuclear tests in 1998, and that gave rise to new concerns in this region. Both the countries became nuclear capable. Both of them have nuclear bombs now, so both of them are posing a bigger threat to each other. Not only to each other, it can disturb the harmony in the whole region. Many countries feel that these two nations should not get locked in nuclear conflict. One more issue in India-Pak relations is the border dispute in Sir Creek area. Both countries have made efforts to establish a dialogue with each other. But considering the way in which Pakistan is supporting terrorists against India and is engineering terrorist activities in India, all efforts at establishing dialogue are proving to be unsuccessful.